What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Enoch. I got my boy Ak in the building, like always.
Yo.
We got a very special guest, Mr. Charles Vales. This is going to be a quite
Yes.
interesting episode.
Right.
You are now tuned in to the Blood Brothers podcast. Let's go. Welcome back to the Blood Brothers podcast, everybody. I know how we like to do it before we get going. Let's honor the Lord real quick. Let's bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this moment. Use us right now. Have your way with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
A to the man.
Man.
A to
Yo, Ak, what it do?
You know, I have to say, our mission will always remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
Empowering men to become leaders in society
Facts.
under God's laws. Consequently, men, women, and children will understand the foundations of a real man. That's my brothers right here. You heard?
And we got a special guest in the building.
Facts.
Mr. Charles, this
Sir.
is my brother,
Facts.
What's up, man?
one of my best friends, my best man. He been talking like he wanted to get on the podcast for a long time. So we're going to see what he got.
Hey.
I mean,
Yep.
what's up, Charlie?
What up, man? How y'all feeling?
You know, we here, man. We here, man. We got some interesting topics today.
Yes,
So-
ready.
So let me just do a disclaimer, because this is gonna be a special episode. We dealing with some decision making protocol,
Mhm.
right? But before we even get going, let's just throw that out there, right? I realized that all right, so we got to go a little bit into history, right?
Okay.
We all went to the same school. I wasn't cool with Charlie in high school. He thought I was soft. You know what I'm saying? Like he trying to play me. I'm like, yo, what's up with this dude? But it's so good. But what I learned is our friends, the ones we're really close to, when we introduce like them to one another, like let's say when I really got to know Charlie, I'm like, oh nah, Charlie's official. Right? And then I was like, yo, that's Fabe. Boom. You oh nah.
Facts. You just vibe.
And then it's just a certain energy I think we all bring
Mm-hmm.
that brings out the best in one another, which is, it's unmatched. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
But we just had to throw that out there, a little disclaimer.
Bro.
So just be ready, a little history.
Yeah.
So
Charles,
today
my guy.
we're talking about the difference between decisions
Mm-hmm.
and mistakes,
Mm.
but we got an undertone of how insecurity is the deciding factor of these decisions.
Mm.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
So
that's
let's kick it off like this. Charlie, let me ask you a question, right? When you think of
Mm-hmm.
an insecure man, what are some of the characteristics that you think about?
Let's see. Insecure man. Let's see. First thing you think about an insecure man is a man that doesn't have his stuff together.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
That's like the number one thing. Doesn't have his stuff together. Always in a bad situation because they put that on themselves.
Mm.
So I mean, what else?
Mm.
That's probably like the main two right there.
So let me ask you a question, then, right? When you say don't they don't have their things in order, what
Yeah.
specifically could you be specify what you mean by that? Specifically.
All right. So if y'all go back to the last couple of podcasts where y'all was talking about it, boy versus man, all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you think about a man in his 30s, still out here, still going clubbing every night, still every Friday posting up, yo, we at such and such and such, we going to pop bottles, we got the hookah ready. That's what we about to go do. We about to go turn it up. Like, bro, after a certain age, it's time to cut it down, have some kids, settle down, relax. You know what I mean? You can't move a certain way after a certain age. So that's a big insecurity.
Yeah. A lot of time, all of that is to like feed the ego. It's
Yeah.
Yo, we going out, we gonna feel like we getting love out here in these streets, knowing like that life is fake. Like it's fake. That there's no reality to that. It's like Hollywood. There's no substance behind it. Going to the club every weekend.
Oh, y'all good? Relax.
Nah, we going there. We going there.
Can we, yo,
Nah,
let's brace the
it's true
audience.
though.
Okay, dang,
I'm
listen.
just saying.
But
All right.
it's true. It's true though, because the insecure man is looking for love from outside places.
Mm,
Because if you got it together at home, you won't go looking for home love outside. You
Mm,
got it already.
mm.
okay.
Think about it,
So,
because if you really think about it, a real man is not gonna look for love from somewhere else. Because
mm,
at home, I'm the man, no matter where I go. I don't
Mm.
need to be the man anywhere else. You know what I mean?
mm.
Facts. Talk that talk, Charlie.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's how you got to break it down.
So let me ask y'all this then, right? I'm gonna take it another step. So when you say at home, right? Obviously, you're talking about your wife, your kids, being the man they need to be, that they need for you to
Yep.
be specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yep.
think even more than that, we have to consider this. The reason why we can be the men for the home is because we're the men already here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
You know what I mean?
mentality.
So
That
I
makes sense.
think the result of being the man up here, meaning having your mind in order, aligning yourself with God's laws, doing the right thing no matter what, having integrity. The result of that is your wife automatically respects you. Your kids love you. So a
Yeah.
lot of times I think the result of being a good person and having morals is a productive lifestyle.
Mm.
You kind of get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's
That goes back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
not being able to compromise in a relationship with
ooh,
your woman
ooh,
because you're so insecure, everything you say have to go.
mm,
And now you end up in these toxic relationships thinking that she's the problem. The woman's always the problem because you haven't dealt with your own insecurities.
mm.
So you're not able to have a real
Yeah.
comfortable relationship because when she says something, it's like, yo, who you talking to?
Yeah.
That's that insecurity, that ego. Like, you can't talk to me like that. You know who I am. When you know who
Yeah.
you are, you ain't gotta do all that.
Yeah.
You
It's like
comfortable?
that dude that's about to fight and he talking crazy, but then when it's about to
Yeah.
pop off and now he's shook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He don't want to. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
All right, so let me ask y'all this then, since we're at this point. So Charlie, let me ask you this, bro. Right? When did you realize that you were a man?
Mm,
Oh, let's see. I mean, in reality, I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
So, so it took me like the first couple of years of my marriage. It was still like a learning thing. I
Mm-hmm.
was learning as I was going because, in fact, I didn't know how to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
So we were really rocky in the beginning because
Mm-hmm.
I was still a boy. I still wanted to do other things that my husband didn't want to do. You know what I mean? Like I still wanted to go out. I still wanted to look for outside stuff, not realizing like I don't need to go out. I don't need to do any of that stuff. So it took me maybe like a year or two to understand like home is where it's at. That's when you build. That's when everything gets better.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And you
So I
going on
probably
5 years in
probably
December.
yeah, 5 years married, 10 years together.
Mm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
December 30th, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
December
yeah.
30th.
We got married the same year.
Right around the corner. Yeah, right around
dang,
the
y'all
corner.
y'all right there. Okay, so
Yeah.
you had obviously you had a learning curve, right? So
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I think what it says about
Okay.
you is the fact that you knew it was a learning curve and you could identify it right then and there. I feel like you became a man. The minute you could
Yeah,
identify your
yeah, yeah,
flaws
definitely.
and go, yo, I got to make a change. Right then and there, that's the first step. That's the foundation of a
Yeah.
man because you're taking accountability for your decisions.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
respect that.
Because
I
you start to
definitely.
realize when,
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
because you start to realize when the laughter is not there, when the laughter is not there how it was in the beginning, you realize something's not right.
Mm,
So I had to do like a big dig deep, dig dive, like and realize like, okay, what's going on? What's the
mm,
problem? So I realized it was me the whole time.
mm.
See,
You
and
know, you
that
still
takes a
want to play
mature
around
mind.
when it's time to be serious. Yeah, yeah.
Man,
So
So that's
what
all
specific,
that.
let me
That's
let
how I
me ask
learned.
you then what specifically you don't got to go into vaguely explain what you mean by when you like what are the traits because obviously you said you want to go out you want to do those things but what was the root of it like what was making you want that type of lifestyle while you were still married.
It wasn't even still a want. It was just like you know how sometimes you're bored at home and you search through your phone. You're like, wow, look like everybody having fun outside. So you're looking like, okay, man, I miss that. I miss being out. Realizing, and every time I went out, it's like, yo, this is boring. I want to go home.
Mm.
But I'm not.
Mm.
Maybe an hour into being out, I'm like, yo, this is whack.
As
This
a
is whack. I'm
fact,
making
yeah. In the
this.
beginning, I remember we would go out, and I'll be, yo, Charlie,
Yeah,
son, I want to go home.
yeah.
Like,
It's
this
just
is
like, yo, this is
whack.
not it.
This is
This
whack.
is
They'll come
not
like,
it.
yo, just come out. We going like, all right. Me and Charlie will go out. You be like,
Yeah,
yo, bro. Like, we'll while it's lit. We literally be talking to ourselves like, yo, we changed, bro. In
yeah.
the
This is
club,
yeah.
at
This is
wherever
not it.
lounge or
Yeah.
whatever. We literally be talking to each other like, yo, bro, we
Yep.
changed, bro. I want to go home. That's when we
Yep.
start hitting us like, yo, bro, like, yo, that's not it. It ain't it.
I'm not gonna
That's
hold you.
ain't it.
Both of y'all are corny for that because if it was me, I would have been wilding in the club, throwing the cash,
No,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? All of that, popping
Now
bottles. That's what I do.
listen. I did that for the first 5 minutes, and then I was like, this ain't it.
Yeah, bro. I remember I think the
5 minutes.
last time where it really hit us, I would say probably New Year's of, were we married at that time?
Nah,
It might
I
have
don't even
been
think it
right
was then
before we
though.
got
It might
married.
have. It might have been before then too. It might have been like my sister's birthday
Yeah, it's
party.
just the birthday. This was even before we
That
getting married. That's when it started to hit us right then. It was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
this life, like, it's cool. We out for, but then it's like, at a certain point, it starts to hit you. Like, you know what? This ain't what it's really about.
yep,
And I mean, that's when that boy starts to subside and then that man starts to grow up. Like, I
yeah.
don't want to be doing this forever. This is not the life.
I
And
don't,
then once you start doing that change, it starts to trickle to where you are able to realize within a year of your marriage, like, some of that is still there. I need to go get that. I need to go get rid of that. And for you doing that process, it takes a real man. And I have to commend you because you did not have a father in your life to show you that
yeah.
way. And there's a lot of men that have that excuse, like, yo, my pops wasn't there. You could have easily had that excuse. Like, yo, my pops wasn't there. So I'm still, but you was able to figure that out because you're a man. Once you become a man, those excuses, they don't work like that anymore. Like, we have to start
Nah,
getting rid of those excuses.
but you know what that stems from though? That stems from having a good woman behind me though.
Mm,
In reality, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the truth. That's the
Yeah, I
truth.
say that too. Yeah, my wife definitely helped me a lot.
I'm gonna be honest, y'all are corny, but I'm not gonna get into that. All right, so look, I do appreciate the sob stories and all of that, but I gotta tell y'all this, and this is me just being real with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Since high school days, watching y'all, I never thought y'all was lit. I always thought y'all was corny.
Oh my
Forever.
god.
Nah, let me stop.
Yeah,
Nah,
cloud.
let me stop. Nah, but on a serious note though, put it like this. I seen Enoch separate himself from his household, right?
Mhm.
And build up himself to be a man. And I knew that was his emancipation, right? So the best way to put it is when Enoch said, yo, I gotta go to North Carolina, I was hurt, like, dang, my dog leaving me.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
me too. Me too.
I knew he had to go. I knew it. Everything
Yeah.
about it said, yo, he got to get out of here. So it's the same thing. Like, I'm pretty sure when Enoch looked at you when you took those steps, you had your daughters and everything. He's like, dang,
Yeah.
I see him taking that transition.
Yeah.
And I think this is where I have big problems when it comes to men that have these deep-rooted insecurities. If either one of y'all was insecure within yourself, the minute your friend tries to evolve, you would have been like, come on, why are you gonna move to North Carolina? Why are you trying to commit fully to your wife? Come on, we this is what we do.
Yeah.
And those little subtle, I'm gonna call it a philosophy. It's an insecure philosophy, but those little subtle philosophies that people live by, especially men, this is the reason why a lot of us are going in circles,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
This is the reason why they don't understand the difference between making a decision and a mistake. Because at the end of the day, at the root of it, they don't get this is a mentality that you have. So I guess let's get into the topic. It's decision versus mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna give Charlie a scenario. Right? Let's
Okay.
start it off like that.
Okay.
All right, Pete. So Charlie, I don't have any friends that cheat on their wives or their girlfriends or they have family. I don't have that, right? Now,
Yeah.
it definitely rubs people wrong because they have this mentality where they think like, yo, I think he's better than people because he's saying that you're doing wrong, right? Like, who are you to say, oh, you're doing wrong? They're saying that to me.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, when it comes to your friends, how do you feel about your friends holding you accountable to doing the right things?
I want you to. I want you to hold me accountable for any mistake that I make. I want you to look at me like, yo, you're bugging. You're doing the wrong thing.
Mhm.
I want you to. And I don't want no friend that's going to push me into the negative light. You know what I mean? I don't want no friend that's going to say, yo, come on, we out tonight. I got a whole gang of ladies at the hotel. We're going to chill. We're going to pop bottles. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no friend that's going to push me into that lifestyle. I want a friend that's going to say, hey, listen, we doing a family night tonight. Come through, bring the kids, bring the wife.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. That's what I need. I need that type of friend.
Okay. So let me
Hold
ask
on, time out.
Yeah.
I gotta hold you accountable for something because I need this moment right here. So Charlie is on this weight loss journey, right?
Okay.
Oh, come on, man.
I gotta do it
Do it.
because I'm tight. You got me tight. I told you I'm gonna bring it to the podcast.
Facts.
So he's on this weight loss journey, right? He's been doing
You
great.
could have waited.
And in the beginning, he told me like, yo, by the end of the year, 280.
Mhm.
I copy. Couple weeks ago, he like, yo, we need to change that to 290. So I'm like, nah, you said 280, bro. I need 280. He like, nah, 290. So Charlie, I need you to explain to me why you changed from 290 to 280. What's up?
I ain't have enough time. Snuck up on me the holidays, man. You gotta give me a break.
All right, next topic.
You gotta give me a break, man. Holidays, man.
All right. So let me ask you this then, right? If your friend is living a certain lifestyle that you deem morally incorrect, how do you handle that friend?
Let's see. If you can't fix it in the beginning, you can't sit them down, you can't talk to them, then you have to distance yourself from them. Same way. You gotta try to pull them out of that hole at the end, or just at least give them guidance and say, hey, listen, let's move a certain way. If they can't move that certain way, then we have to, separate.
Okay. What's your timeline on that?
That's simple. I mean, you gotta give everybody matures at a certain pace, so you have to at least slow walk with somebody before you just distance yourself. So it can't be a month and bye you're gone. You gotta at least give it some time. You know what I mean? Maybe like a year. If a year passed and they can't get it together, then at some point in time you gotta get it going. But at the same time, we but at the same time though, we all over 30, so that leash is a little bit shorter. You know what I mean? It's a little bit. You know what I mean? So
you got a
I can't say
family,
yes for that
you
one.
got time to do too much.
I got time for that. So maybe like a 6-month curve, maybe, maybe.
So let me ask you a question, right? This is good. I'm glad we're getting another perspective. When you do these things, like say you ever had to cut off a friend?
In reality, I don't know if it's cutting off. I know it's like maybe distancing, but that's just life though. Life happens like that. So you end up distancing from people, but not really cutting off though.
So let me ask you this way then. When you do, if you ever had to take that approach, right? What would be how would you handle it? Like, what do you think is appropriate in that situation? If you're going, yo, I want nothing to do with you, and you want to make it clear, how would you handle that?
Shit, I don't know. I'm not good at handling that one. I'll probably just distance. That's it. Stop talking. That's it.
Yeah.
Straight just stop talking. That's it.
I like to make it clear. You like
See, I can't do that. I don't want to. I just let it.
I just be like, yo, leave it. I just like, nah, I'm gonna let you know, like, yo, bro, we can't be cool. This is why. So if you see me, don't say what up. Like it's quiet. I just want to make sure we clear.
All right, we gonna move on. We gonna move on. All right, so Charlie, matter of fact, Enoch, let's ask E.
Yep.
What?
What is the difference between a decision and a mistake?
Okay. Decisions come from thought out, really, for me, because I'm thinking as a man. If I'm
Okay.
making a decision, it's thought out. It's, I took time to really understand the situation where I'm making a decision on. Now, mistakes, that's different for some people, because some people think cheating is a mistake. That's a decision. And I think we need to differentiate what a mistake is. A mistake is something that you did not plan and it happened. Like an accident. I did not plan to crash. It was an accident. That was a mistake. I made a mistake. I made a wrong turn. Now, decisions is more so I'm about to speed on this 20 mph. I'm gonna go 100. You made a decision and then you crashed. That's not an accident. That's not a mistake. That was bound to happen. So we have to get out of this idea that mistakes are this notion that I did not have no cause in it. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay. I'm just writing notes because I'm gonna go in a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Charlie. The difference between decisions and mistakes.
All right, so almost the same thing, but at the same time too, you got to think about it too. A lot of decisions are mistakes, though. If you don't plan them out accordingly, like you just said, like with cheating, cheating is not a what you call it. It's not a
Mistake,
it's not a
yeah.
mistake. It's a decision. Even speeding, like you just said,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You're deciding to go that route. So it's all about planning out what you want to do. That's a decision. You know what I mean? Taking your time, praying on it, taking a sweet time. Like I know for a fact, like in May, I'm getting ready to graduate school. So me
Congrats, big dog.
deciding,
Facts.
me deciding like what my next move is going to be, it's not something. It's something I'm going to take my time on. I'm not just going to wake up and say, all right, let me just go apply for the first job, take the first job that's open to me, because that's a mistake. Because that's something that could hurt me in the long term. If you think about it that way too, it's work wise.
Okay, I like that. I like both
ways.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna give y'all a little of my breakdown for decision and mistakes, and y'all can tell me if I'm off or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so E, you brought up driving and then an
Mhm.
accident, right? You turned, you made an accident.
Mhm.
So what I come to realize is the foundation of mistakes is actually still a decision,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I think people lack the ability or they ignore the consequence of their decisions
Mm-hmm.
based off of their moral code. So I think this is why people call decisions mistakes, right? If a man goes into, let's say, a strip club, right? And he goes, yo, I'm just having a good time with my friends. I'm just hanging out with the fellas. It's no big deal. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to chill, right? But it goes too far, and then he ends up violating his girl, right? Cheating or whatever you want to call it. Now, he'll say, I made a mistake,
Mm-hmm.
right? He'll deem it a mistake. He'll categorize it as a mistake.
Yeah.
But because he didn't value the decision-making process, which goes back to man versus boys, where it goes, you have to assess situations before making, judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the confusion becomes, okay, your mistakes are really decisions. So you chose to go into the strip club. You didn't take into account, okay, this strip club could possibly get me into a mood where I'm trying to get busy because obviously I'm around naked girls, alcohol. It's just the environment that dictates to it. But you'll say, well, I was drinking, which comes with the decision of going to the strip club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's little details and variables that go into your decisions that you try to manipulate to call it a mistake. Does that make sense? Yeah, you following me?
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm with you.
when it comes to consequence of mistakes or consequence of decisions, when they call it a mistake, what I realize is they want sympathy. Right? It's a play on sympathy. It's a play on I need to learn. I'm trying. I'm doing this. When in reality, you just don't want to grow up and you don't want to take accountability. So I'll give y'all another scenario, right? If let's say me, I'll tell you guys, I'll use me as an example. Me, I'll say, yo, you cheated on your girl, you violated, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
That was a decision. You'll go, somebody will tell me, like, yo, you're supposed to, be my friend, see me through the process, that type of philosophy. And I go, no, I don't see boys through mistakes. I mean, I don't see boys through decisions, not mistakes. Right. So a mistake would be you walked out the house and you tripped on ice or you tripped on a crack on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You can't walk outside and fall into another girl's bed. You get what I'm saying? So the when you tell me that when you violate a moral code, it's a mistake, to me that means you don't want to take accountability for your actions. You just want sympathy so that way you can have another chance to do the same thing all over again. What y'all think about that? I guess go ask Charlie first. Go ahead.
First off, you cheated because you got a notepad.
Fact.
Like,
He always do that. He always get no pad. I go straight
like,
off the head.
like, come on, we supposed to go off the head. You cheating, you got a notepad.
My bad.
But I don't even want to follow up to that. But basically, everything you said is real. Yeah, I'm going to what you said. Yeah,
Nah, that's a fact.
that's
You
it.
know, I
Nah,
think
you're right though.
yeah. I think at a certain point when you're going a direction like as us, we're good men, we're good husbands. We follow great morals, we follow God.
Mhm.
I don't I don't feel like, not in an arrogant way, but I don't feel like I can make a bad decision.
Explain
Here-
that.
Here's
that,
what
'cause
I
I
mean
agree.
by that.
Mhm.
Everything I do, I process it, right?
Mhm.
Now, let's say the decision I make for some reason doesn't work out.
Okay.
It's a lesson to me.
Okay.
I don't see it as a mistake. I don't see it as a bad decision because off of that, I'm going to continue in the direction where I'm going.
Mhm.
So I don't feel like where I'm at right now, I can make a decision that I would deem a bad decision.
I like that. I
You
agree.
know what I'm saying?
I agree. Charlie, you
I
got
like that.
something you want to
So
follow up on
yeah, I
that?
like that one.
Charlie, you want to follow up?
I'm gonna say when you talk about your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. I think when you make your decisions, you have to think about every consequence that come with it. So that's what I think we're all in the same situation where we think about every consequence that come with it. So
Mhm.
we're in a situation where if we cheat, we lose so much. We lose our family, we lose our lives, which are our best friends, we lose our household. So everything breaks down from that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't afford mistakes at a certain time.
Exactly.
That's when you think about it. Like
Exactly.
we can't make mistakes. There is no mistakes for us.
Yeah.
I love that. Go ahead,
Because
Nikki.
of the practice that we put in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So let me piggyback on that,
Yeah,
right?
you put too much time into something to afford for it to break down now.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. And let me piggyback off that too. So Charlie just brought up the fact that you lose your household, right? Not only do you lose your wife, but this is the part that I think irritates me the most about that scenario, meaning like men cheating on their wives and breaking up the home and all of that. See, the generational impact of that is it's almost like a slow death,
Yeah.
right? Because think about it like this. Charlie, if you was to cheat on your wife and y'all
Mm.
broke up, now you have a divorced home.
Hmm.
That means you have two daughters that watch their
Yep.
mother get violated by
Wow.
the man that they love,
Yep.
right? Your daughters love
Hmm.
you and they love seeing you with their
Right.
mom and they love their mom. So when you violate as a man, deeper than, I mean, yes, I'm not negating the covenant, but when I speak of generation, I'm talking about the children, the impact on the kids. You kind of leave your kids out there to figure it out themselves. And I say that just because
Yeah.
like I said, I've experienced my father cheating on my mom, and it left it up to me to figure out what a home is supposed to look like,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I was confused. So in my
That,
confusion, I made dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Now, even though I was young and I made dumb decisions, I still call them decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make mistakes. I made dumb decisions that
Yeah.
had negative consequences. So I think we all, as a community, look at bad decisions and go, when you say it's not worth it, we're thinking of generations down the line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's kind of how we're
Yeah,
operating at
yeah,
this point in our lives. We're looking at kids, grandkids, great grandkids.
I think to be able
yeah,
to look at things as decisions, it comes with maturity
Mhm.
because it takes accountability to understand that a decision was made in order for this to happen.
Mm.
When you don't live by accountability, don't have that like
Mhm.
embedded in you,
Yeah,
almost everything is a mistake.
everything,
Everything is a mistake.
everything.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when you have
also too,
accountability,
also,
you're able to do that.
yeah,
Yeah, Charlie.
yeah, also too, like we just said with the generational thing, right? Like for me, my pops, right? My pops had what 9 kids, all different baby mothers.
Mm.
So with me, his mistakes, I paid for in a sense where it in the beginning ruined what I was going through, I was building, but at the same time, I figured it out. I got myself together, so
Mhm.
I end up becoming a, you know what I mean, like becoming a blessing from that mistake.
Mhm.
Whereas with my daughters, I can't afford for they may not figure it out the same way I did. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Because you think about it, for girls, a lot of times the first man that they love is their father.
Yep, that's
Always.
true.
So if they see me breaking their mother heart, it's gonna be a full cycle where they're gonna go looking for love from a bunch of different men where they're gonna end up in the wrong path. So I don't want that.
Mm.
Mm.
So, let me ask you guys this, right? I'll ask Charlie first. So, you've ever heard when people be like, "Oh, they have a good heart." People say, they do certain things, but they have a good heart. So they'll say a man that cheats on his girl or cheats on his family. And let me just I'm gonna put this in context. If you don't have kids, I'm not saying this doesn't apply, but it's heightened when you have kids,
Yeah.
right? It's to another level when you have kids because realistically, once you have kids, that's your family.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So that's the context. So they'll say a man has a good heart. Like he a good dude, but he violated his girl, but he's a good dude. I know he's a good dude. How do you feel about that?
Hmm.
They say that about my pops all the time. They always say that about my pops. Like I'm gonna take it off of cheating, right?
Hmm.
Because we're not just gonna stick on cheating.
Okay.
Like my pop, they say my pops is a good dude all the time. Every time I told them, I told anybody, they say, "Yo, your pops is a good dude. He just make mistakes." That's cool and all, but at the same time, you have to understand you can be a good dude, but you also have to be a better father when you
Mm.
think about decisions and mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You decided to lay down with each and every one of those women and have these kids, so you have to own up and make those decisions and take care of those children. You know what I'm saying? So you can have a good heart. That's great and all, but at the same time, you have to own up to your mistakes. Fix the decisions. Decide to be a good father. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just offer the father standpoint from it. So
Okay. I
you can
like that.
have a good heart. That's
Hmm.
good. That's good to have a good heart. But at the same time, you have to do more than just have a good heart. Because that's like saying I'm a good person, but I smoke and drink every day, but I go to church every Sunday.
Facts.
Good
Are
Facts.
analogy.
you are you are you really a good person? Not
Facts.
really.
I like
I
that.
can't go to church. I can't go to church on my way to church bumping some gospel music, and then as soon as I leave the church, we bumping some Rod Wave. You know what I mean? Like, come on, it doesn't
Right
work the
way.
same. You got to understand where you're going. And I only say Rod Wave because Enoch hates him with a passion.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Oh my
but
God.
hey, what you think about that? Like, what do you think about this whole? Because I really do think it's becoming an ideology. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a good person. I'm a good dude. Like he got a good heart. I hear that a lot. So what you think about that?
I'm a little harder on that because you know me. I'm a across the board kind of guy.
Okay.
So if you tell me you're a good dude, but you steal. If you tell me you're a good dude, but you lie.
Hmm.
If you tell me you're a good dude, but just in all these other areas, I just fall short. I would say, well, what makes you good?
Mm. Hmm.
What
Mm.
makes you a good person? Because you have good intentions? That just because you have good intentions don't make you a good person.
Mm.
I had good intentions to rob the bank because things is hard right now. So I'm a good person because I'm trying to look out for my situation or my family, whatever.
Mhm.
That does not make you a good person. You may have good intentions, but that's not a good person. And I think that's where we have to differentiate what is good. To me, there is no good outside of God.
Mhm.
So when somebody tells me like, "Yo, I'm a good person," be like, "Are you really?" Because I tell you now, without God, I'm not a good person.
Mhm.
I used to want to steal. Charlie, we used to run it up. Know what I'm saying, we used like so, and people would tell me like, "Yo, but you a good dude." Like even just recently, this dude that I knew for a long time, he said something to me. I was like, "Wow, for real." He was like, "Yo, bro." He was like, "Yo, I love what you're doing with your podcast and everything." He was like, "Yo, I always knew you was like a good dude, but I always thought you'd always be like a player or something." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Nah." He was like, "I can see like you're a real family man. Like, yo, you're a good role model." And I was like, "Yo, I appreciate that." And I started thinking, I'm like, huh. Say he thought I was a good dude and just thought I'd be always be a player. So if I'm hurting a bunch of women's hearts, am I really a good dude?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Like, are you really that good of a person if just
Not really.
because
Yeah.
it's just girls, man. I'm just running around. I hurt their feelings, but I'm still a good dude. But are you really though if you're hurting people? You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Not at all. No.
all right. So I say that to say they say good intentions pave the path to hell,
mm,
right? That
mm,
I've seen that it was a quote, but I really do I really want to address that. I want to unpack it because here's the thing: the same way you heard Charlie, like your father's a good dude. I heard the same thing. I heard that same wordplay, and what I've come to realize is people use that in the same sentence as mistakes, right? It's the same concept. Oh, he got a good heart. I
yeah,
make a mistake. All it is a wordplay on sympathy. So what
mm,
I started to realize is that people don't want to change as much as they want sympathy,
mm,
right? Because at the end of the day, it's like this. The best apology you can give somebody is change behavior across
yeah,
the board, right? You want to show me you're sorry. You want to show me that like that you're a good person. Show me you're a good person.
yeah,
And even to piggyback off that, I want to know what you guys think about people that like. Okay, so for example, Charlie, if somebody goes to you, yo, it's the way you are with your daughters, that's amazing, man.
mhm.
That's great, right? That's an amazing accomplishment. I love how you are with your daughters, your wife. How do you receive those kind of compliments?
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it because I know where I came from, so I know
Mm-hmm.
how much that means to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
going back to the decisions versus, you know what I mean, decisions versus mistakes. When you talk about my pops,
Mm-hmm.
everything that I wanted from him, as far as like love and wanted to be a good father, just wanted to spend time with my father all the time. I
Yeah.
took that. I didn't get that, so I took that and I gave that to my daughters. So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I do when I come home, I just take care of them. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the best part of my day is coming home and seeing my kids.
Of course.
So
mm,
anytime anybody looks at me and says like, "Yo, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job," I
Mm-hmm.
take that and I'm smiling. I'm happy. Like that's better than anything you in the world you can give me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
mm,
like the best thing. That's $1 million to me.
I
mm,
like that. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this. And me and Enoch kind of have the same thought process when it comes to these kind of things. But so, it's unfortunate that people are shocked that you're a good father or a good
yeah,
man, right? We look at that, and it's not a knock because I agree with you. Like it's a supreme compliment. Don't get it
yeah,
twisted. But the fact of the matter is that people are shocked when they see men being good fathers and good husbands and having a
yeah.
moral stand. That compliment it's an underlying insult to where we are as men
In
as a whole.
society, yeah,
Do you get what I mean? It's
yeah.
like because when I look at it,
It's
I'm
not
trying to figure
common.
exactly. Like I
Yeah,
don't want that to be a rare commodity amongst my peers.
yeah,
It almost should be like them calling you black. You're
yeah,
a black man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. Right. What did you think I was
But you
supposed
also got
to? Yeah.
you also got to think about it too. Like our generation, you got to give us like a lot of credit. We
Mhm.
changed like a lot of those stereotypes. If you think about it, a lot of people older than us came from broken homes. They didn't have no fathers, so
Mhm.
we're changing the mold. You know what I mean? Like all of us, we are. I've never seen so many married couples in my life as far as like
Facts.
married with children. I've never seen that. When
Yeah.
we were younger, there was not too many of that.
That's true.
I
And
can
it's
quote,
crazy
I
that
could
you
walk
say
down the
that.
block and count. Yeah, it's true though. You think about it. If you really sit and think about it, how many times have you seen married couples with their children when we were younger? Not too much. Not too
Mm.
Mm.
much. It's rare. But all of us, at like our generation,
I hope that Wi-Fi.
seen so many people get engaged. Like I love seeing that.
Mhm.
Yo, the crazy thing is my young boy at
Ghost.
work, right? He's 21. He was like, yo, bro, I've never seen a man like you, bro. He's like, I never seen a man like a stand-up guy like you, married with your kids. And I'm like, yo, like it was a compliment. I, I was like, I appreciate that. But at the same time, I was like, dang, bro, you ain't never seen that. And I was trying to tell him, like, yo, bro, I'm not the only one. I got my best friends. I was like, yo, my boy, yo, same way, my boy Charlie, same. He was like, yo, for real. He was like, yo, bro, we're trying to create a new mold so that this is normal.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, yo, how you think that, yo, that's not normal. I'm not used to seeing that. And I'm like, yo, bro, that's what we
Yeah.
doing. Like we trying to change that.
I think I think the real issue, and it is true, we do have a lot more than I guess prior generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of look at it like this, right? If if there's a test, right? Because I there are more than the last generation, but I just feel like the last generation failed so miserably
Hmm.
that anything would have been better than what they were. You know, and I hate to say it like that, but
Yeah.
anything, right?
That,
Yeah.
but
Four
that's the truth.
married
That's the
couples would have
truth.
been better than what they had. So
Yeah.
I
That's
think
the
it's
truth.
important that we put in the context where it's like they got, let's say they took a test out of 100, they got a 20. I would say our generation did better, but we're
Yeah.
still probably at like a 45. You know what I mean? I don't feel like
Yeah.
we passed the test, but I do agree
We're
that
better.
we're better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's a backwards ideology where it's like I don't want to be compared to the failures.
Mm.
I want us to have our own everything, right?
Clean slate. Yeah.
We're not comparing ourselves to our fathers. We're not
Yeah.
comparing ourselves to what our mothers had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even, I don't want to say we're not acknowledging what we came from, but I genuinely feel that once you have your own family, it's your turn. It's a clean slate,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not
Yeah.
even,
That's a fact.
if
Yeah.
I'm gonna compare myself to anything, I want to compare myself to the best version of myself, right?
Yeah.
So I want to look at my
Mhm.
wife and go, all right, babe, what can I work on to make us better,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the standard. How
Yeah.
am I constantly improving
Yeah.
this great foundation that I established already? Because, and I mean, this goes back even to like the slavery concepts.
Yeah.
I hate that they keep reverting back to what it was. See how far you guys done came.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yeah, cool, but at the end of the day,
We got nowhere. So.
exactly,
Mhm.
we're not nowhere where we need to be. So
Exactly. Yep.
when I'm looking at men
All
like
in there.
outside of us, right? I could think maybe two other people that I know that I'm like, they moving, but
Mm-hmm.
there are still so many other women who are dealing with little boys trying to mature on their back,
That's a
right?
fact.
It's there's the women are
Yeah.
paying the price and the kids are paying the price from poor decision making, but even more an infected mentality. That's the
Mm.
only way I could identify it. So when we get
Yeah.
compliments, it's like, yeah, nah, it's cool. I
Mm-hmm.
like it too. I'm not gonna front.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
feel good, but
Yeah.
then you automatically have to go to
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be compared to the bad. I don't want to be compared to
Yeah.
the bad news bears, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
give me some like, if anything, give me
But
a real. Hold on, I got you, Charlie. Give me a real concept of what exactly do you think is impressive about what I'm doing. But go ahead, Charlie.
Hmm.
Now, what I was gonna say is, I'm like, you gotta think about it too. Like, what we're doing, like you just said, is building a foundation. We're not gonna see the benefits of it, but our kids and their kids are gonna see the benefits of it because
Mm.
they're gonna come from a stable, it's a stable, a stable environment. So basically, the domino effect. So
Mm,
they see us, we're the leading piece.
yeah.
So once we knock off we're the first ones to fall. Then
Hmm.
they're gonna get married. They're gonna follow the same footsteps. Then their kids are gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's basically a domino effect. We're not gonna see it. We're not gonna see
Yeah.
the
Mm.
I
That's
like
our
that.
true.
kids are gonna see it, and their kids
Yeah.
are gonna see it.
And they're gonna be the example.
I like that.
Yes.
We
So
change. We
they're gonna
breaking
be
them
the ones that's
chains.
getting the A plus. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna get the
Facts.
A
They're
plus,
gonna be the ones
not us.
getting that A.
I
Facts.
like
Yeah, not us.
that. That's a
Facts.
great way to look at it. And
Yeah.
even with that too, think about it. We say this all the time. Like our kids don't have to figure out their friends.
Mm.
We're already putting their friends in their life. Like
Facts.
we're
Facts with
setting
our
it up. Well,
kids.
this is your friend. This is your friend. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it goes back to we said it the last time. It's like I want my friends to be able to raise my kids if something happened to me. Like if
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
something went wrong and I'm gone, I need to know, yo, there's gonna be quality men in my kid's life that they're
Facts.
covered
Yeah.
in that area if their dad
Yeah.
happens to not be here. And
Yeah.
Facts.
the fact of the matter is, I think that's why we have such a tight, small
Mm-hmm.
circle.
Yeah.
Even though we don't want it to be like that, I feel like it becomes inevitable
Yeah. It
because
has to be.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think even more than the lack of maturity in our generation,
Mm-hmm.
there's no genuine accountability for your immaturity. So
Mm.
a lot of times it goes back to I just made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just messed up. Like you're supposed to be here for me. You're supposed to be my boy. You're supposed to go
Yeah.
through the trenches. Or they'll tell me this is another one. Let me ask y'all. This is another good one. So they'll say you and your wife is supposed to go through things,
Uh-huh.
but they'll categorize it with the immature behavior of the man
Mm.
and then manipulate it to say she's a rider because she dealt with all of this garbage.
Mm.
How do y'all feel
Nah,
about that? How you feel about that, Charlie?
that's bull. To be honest with you, that's bull. There's no such thing as manipulating a woman to say she's a rider. At the end of the day, a woman's gonna leave. When she's fed up, she's gonna leave.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a rider. A man has to do what he has to do to make sure everything is good.
Yeah.
So that way she's not going through what she's going through. Like even though like me and my wife's situation was never that bad, like sure to where she would go, but it was just little things to where it's like you get fed up. A little things start to
Yeah.
turn into big things. Like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, leaving socks on the floor turn into the biggest argument in the world because you're unhappy.
Yeah.
So it's a,
Y-
you know what I mean?
The
I
root,
My
think
bad.
that goes back to I think women probably more so look at men as he's a good person. I
yeah.
think I think that plays a
Yeah,
part.
yeah,
When I
yeah.
think
That's a
about
big
it,
part. That's a big part.
Yo, unpack that. Unpack that though.
because I don't think they really like how I broke down earlier about like are they really a good person? I think they don't see like yo, but he's good. He's a good man. He does this, he does that, but he's cheated on me a few times, but he's really a good person. And I think it hasn't hit them that he's really not because what he's doing to you. Everything you're saying is because of what he does, the other stuff,
Mm,
but how does he treat you?
mm.
Does that make him a good person? And to go back to what you were saying earlier about your pops, like I would have never known about your pops because every interaction I had with him, he was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's always looked out for me. He's always like he was the reason I wrestled my senior year when I wasn't going to. He pulled me
Yeah.
in the hallway and broke it down like, yo, bro, and I won counties because of your pops. So
Yeah.
it's like when you say those things, it's like, dang, that's crazy. Because
It's-
I looked at him like, yo, this is really good dude.
Yeah.
But from your lens, it's like, nah, he did me dirty.
Yeah. Because I had to live it. See, a lot of
Yeah.
times it's easier for men to relate to other children because the children don't have to experience what the fathering is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're looking at it from this is a good guy. Look at how he's looking out for me. He wants to talk to me. Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him like you ain't never had that kind of motivational conversation with me in your
Me.
life. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, how you gonna
Yeah.
give it to somebody else?
yeah, how do you do that to somebody? And I dealt with this a long time. Like I had to unpack it and really get to it. And I'll give you an example. So my father was big on investing in other kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? He ran the Uniondale Little League. He did all these things, but he didn't put the time into his own kids.
Mm.
It was a mask for his insecurities. So
Going back to
it was
insecurities.
it was it was a facade of what you were portraying to be, but that's not who you are genuinely. Because if you were, your kids will reap the benefits of the genuineness of your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you how deep rooted it is with me. You know, I do Genesis. I do kid basketball with the kids. I deal with all the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some parents that wanted me to train their kids for basketball.
Mm.
I declined to train their kids and let my man train them because I said, look, if I'm gonna invest time into anybody, it's gonna be my own children.
Hmm.
If I can't invest equal or more time into my own son playing basketball who wants to play, then what do I look like as a man putting that time into another
Mm.
child? Not
Mm.
saying I have anything
I
against
got
the
you.
child, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I love my son, and I never want him to think that, my dad, he put the time into other people, but he don't put the time into me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I passed that. I said,
Yeah, that's the worst.
I was like, I'm good. There's no amount of money that'll shape this out for me, so I'm good, and I'll let my man do it. But it goes back to the lens and how people confuse. And I think it's on purpose, but you want to call your decision a mistake,
Mm. Yeah.
and it's not. It's at the root of it. It's not. Everything is decision driven.
That's a
Charlie
fact.
coming on this podcast, decision driven.
Facts. Facts.
You shaking your head right now,
Yeah.
decision driven.
Facts.
There
Facts.
is no. I'm starting to really think.
There might
There's
not be
no-
such thing as mistakes.
Yo, I'm really starting to believe that, and let me tell you why. Right? Just hear me out. If you go to the most basic root of a mistake, it's grounded in a decision,
Yeah.
right? Because if I go walk down the sidewalk and I
Yeah,
trip,
that's true. That's
if I
true.
go down the sidewalk and I trip, I still chose to walk down that sidewalk, though I might not have
Yeah,
assessed
nobody
the
told you to
situation,
walk down the sidewalk.
That's true.
right? I'm starting to think, and I mean, I could
Yeah.
sound a little crazy, whatever, but I'm starting to think there's no such thing as mistakes. It's just decisions and consequence. That's it. There's no
Poor
such thing as
decision
mistakes.
making.
Yeah, I mean, dang, that's kind of
Well, a
deep.
lot of poor decisions come from go back to insecurities. If you're an insecure person, you're gonna make decisions that doesn't line up with a sound mind.
Oh, yeah,
If
yeah,
you're insecure, it's very hard to have clarity in your decisions
yeah.
because your thoughts are skewed because of how you
Mm,
look at yourself. Now,
true.
if I look at myself as someone that, let's say, can't get a girl, I'm gonna walk around like I'm hotter than I am
Mm-hmm.
to make it like, yo, I'm the man out here in these streets. Like, yo,
Yeah.
but deep down inside, you're covering up the fact that you're hurt because you don't know how to talk to a woman. But if you
Mm,
dealt with that, you would be able to fix that. So you don't have to put out this persona that you the man. You
mm.
know what I'm saying? I think that's the real
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, Charlie. My boy Wi-Fi is pop
The
daddy.
Wi-Fi is traga.
That Metro
Yeah,
PCS.
that's almost like the same thing too when you think about like a man and money stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? You get me?
Yeah, it's a little shaky, but we hear you.
Go ahead, go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
Yep. All right. So I was saying like it's the same thing like with a man with money too. Like
Mm-hmm.
most men with money don't care about how they look. You know what I'm saying? Like certain people, like I have money in my pocket, so I'll go outside and bummy sweats and a regular t-shirt. I don't care.
Facts.
Certain men will. They have to have that designer on. They have to be designer down. They have to be. They have to be what you call it, driving a brand new Benz or something
And
like
be
that,
broke.
2020 something big, because they have to show like and be broke. They have no money to put gas in that car.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That car is right around on E. They put $5 in the tank. That's an insecurity. They gotta, you know what I'm saying? It's like they have no money, so you gotta do a big thing. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, man. You gotta humble
Where we
yourself
going with
as a
it?
man, bro. Like you don't do all that for what? For what?
I think we should end with this, right? So we've obviously have a consensus that decisions. All right. Matter of fact, let me, because I don't want to impose. So me personally, I don't
Uh-huh.
think there's a such thing as a mistake. I'm as we're talking, it's just more revelation to my brain
Mm-hmm.
and processing of there really isn't a such thing as a mistake.
Mm.
Everything is decision driven,
Yeah.
small, big, or indifferent. It's a
Mm-hmm.
choice that you choose. And I think I want to ask you guys before we leave, why is it, besides insecurities, because obviously, insecurity is a big thing in, this current climate.
Mm-hmm.
But why do you think that men want so much sympathy for bad decision making? Start with E. Go ahead, Enoch.
Why do men want sympathy for bad decision making? It goes back to that accountability, boy.
Mhm.
If you're not able to be accountable for your decisions, it makes you feel better when people say, "Man, it's all right, man. It's don't worry about that," because you're not able to deal with yourself and deal with situations to say, "Yo, you know what? It was my fault." You can't do that because you haven't transitioned from a boy to a man.
Mm.
Boys love to be coddled like, "Oh, I made a mistake. You gonna like love on me so that make me feel better so I don't feel as bad." Some people don't like to deal with that issue because sometimes it's a lot to deal with when you made a mistake.
Mm.
It's like, dang, bro, I really messed this up. But what men have to understand is if you don't deal with that, you can't grow.
Facts.
It'll always be a cycle of I made a mistake, somebody felt sorry for me, it's okay. I didn't learn from it. Make another mistake, somebody felt bad for me, I didn't learn from it. Until you're able to be held accountable, then it's like, yo, I really don't want that mistake, so-called mistake, to happen again. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna make sure I put myself in position to make the right decisions so that that doesn't happen again.
I like
And
that.
if you don't have that, that's when the issue comes from.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the same
Yeah.
question, Charlie. Why is it that
But
men want the sympathy when they make bad decisions?
to piggyback off that, because we live in a world of second chances,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm sorry works so many times. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? You could keep saying
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and you get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I ever change if I keep getting away with I'm sorry? So that's my sympathy. That's what I need. If I can get away with that, I'm sorry. Hey, listen, I'm good. That's like you going to a corner store and you robbing that corner store every day at the same time every day and you get away with it.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep
You're
going
never
back.
gonna feel bad for it. You're gonna keep going back and keep doing the same thing. Yo, Poppy, what's good? Give me the money. You're gonna keep doing the same thing until somebody comes, catches you and push you and makes you sit down. You know what I mean? That's the only time you'll change.
So,
So until that's a
go ahead,
go
Charlie. No,
ahead.
go ahead. No, finish.
No, I was going. No, I was gonna say like you know what I mean. So nothing changes until you get you know what I mean. Like you keep getting away with the same thing, so you're not gonna change. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep following that same path, keep doing the same thing. It's repetitive. It's
Okay.
called a repetitive culture.
Okay. So I'll leave it with this. I believe that there is no such thing as change behavior unless there's a consequence.
Mm.
And I'm I'm the person that if morals are violated, the consequence is going to match the moral violation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have sympathy for men who make bad decisions that violate morals.
Hmm.
That sympathy process and what you guys are talking about, this cycle, is actually what's infecting our culture,
Yeah, yeah.
our kids,
Yeah,
the men.
yeah,
And the result of this poor decision making with this sympathy is that women and children are paying the price, not
Yeah.
only mentally, but they're gonna adopt those same philosophies when they make this
yeah, but
mistakes, so-called mistakes, or when they
Yeah.
make bad decisions. They're gonna want the same
yep.
thing. And not only is it dangerous,
Mhm.
it's unfortunate because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
we're doing this podcast. We're telling people this, these tools, and I'm sure a lot of people listen to us and they probably think, we're I'm not gonna say we're
Mm-hmm.
bluffing, but
Yeah.
we really do live like this. This is not this is not for a facade. This is not to impress people. This is not to, put on an image that we don't, that we want to look like something that we're not.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the result of having a sound mind and making the right decisions all the time will create patterns that will have the generational effect that we're looking to have for our children.
Facts.
And if we don't get it together, meaning if as a system, right? Meaning like if you got a friend and he's not living up to those moral stands, you really need to cut dead weight. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And if they can't accept that and respect you as a man for that, then at the end of the day, they weren't really supposed to be your friend. They were just literally leeches to your mentality.
Yeah.
And think about it. If all men held themselves to these standards, women would have husbands all over the place.
Facts. That's a fact.
Oh, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Right?
It'd be a whole different.
It'd be a whole different story. The
Whole different ball game. There will be no broken homes.
Exactly. There will be no broken homes, which means that there will be more kids that come from these sound foundations, which means that cycle would be reciprocated consistently. And now Charlie don't got to worry about a good man coming to try to marry his daughters.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because we're producing quality. And ultimately it comes down to the man. Make the right decisions all the time when nobody's watching. Have some integrity about yourself.
Facts.
Yep.
Integrity, consistency, accountability.
Talk that talk.
All that good stuff.
But yo, we want to thank Charlie. You've been very insightful.
Yes.
You know, we love you, my brother.
Charlie, we appreciate
Love
you. Any
too,
last
man.
words?
Hey, listen, man, I'm proud of y'all. I've been practicing all day. You know what I mean? I had my laugh ready. I had my podcast laugh ready. I had my speech. You know what I mean? I was in the bathroom practicing.
Yo,
But
tell
now
him you got your cut. Tell him you got the cut too, my boy.
I got the fresh cut ready for the podcast. Nah, but all jokes aside, man, I'm proud of y'all. What y'all doing is a good thing, man. Keep doing it. I listen every day, so
thank you.
Proud of y'all, man. Keep doing the same thing.
Appreciate you.
Yo,
Appreciate
you got
you, my
anything to
brother.
leave with the people?
Hey, man. Thank you again, Charlie, for coming on. My best friend, my brother. I love you, bro.
Love you too,
Keep being
man.
the man that you are for them girls, man.
Yes, sir.
And you know, through all the process, there's going to be ups and downs, my friends.
Facts.
But one thing that never change. One thing that'll never change. Ain't that right, Bishop Charlie? There's one thing that'll never change.
Amen.
Keep God before anything.
All right, chill. You know my motto. Listen, I get it. Everybody wants to say you can't be perfect. Fine. But if you make the right decision every time when nobody's watching, at least at a minimum, you could be excellent.
Facts.
Other than that, thank you guys for listening. We'll see y'all next week. Well, holla.
Yes, yes.